Hey everybody, Ryan here at etrailer.com. Today on our 2017 BMW X5, we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install the Curt powered taillight converter kit with the 4-pole flat trailer connector. Now, one thing I really like about this kit is the fact that it uses a module box. Now, that module box is going to protect our BMW's factory wiring if a short or anything like that were to occur on the trailer side. Now, that can really put your mind at ease, especially with today's really advanced electronics that's found in our cars. And another thing I really like is that our wiring is going to be completely hidden whenever we're not using it. So it'll just store behind our panel here. That way it's out of sight and out of mind, and it's protected from the elements. And whenever you are ready to use it, it's really easy. We'll just take our panel off, grab our 4-pole flat connector from out of the storage compartment. You can just fold up your tailgate and drape it over. Now, one thing you need to watch out for whenever you are draping your wiring over is anywhere along the edge is going to be fine. You just want to be sure to avoid the latch mechanism here. So kind of let this hang out here, and we can just close our hatch. And with our hatch closed, it's still going to give us plenty of length to be able to easily hook up to our trailer. Now, at the end of our 4-pole flat wiring here, it's going to have a nice rubber dust cap. That'll help keep our terminals protected. And to go a step further, every now and again, I do recommend putting some dielectric grease on them. And you can find that here at eTrailer. Now, one thing you can do with this cap too, say if you drop your trailer and you plan on picking it up later that day, to avoid having to put this back inside of your BMW, what you can do is just loop that cap through the safety chains on your hitch, put it back on, then you can just keep it stored like that for the time being. Now, the trailer wiring is going to provide our trailer with the necessary lighting functions to remain safe and legal. Now, this is going to have a power output of 4.2 amps per circuit for our stop and turn signals and 7.5 amps per circuit for our taillights. So more or less what that means is it's going to provide us with plenty of power, whether we're towing a trailer with traditional style incandescent bulbs or even newer style LEDs. Now, what I do like about this wiring is the fact that it's actually going to tap into our BMW's factory wiring, and that's just going to be a really reliable connection. We know it's going to work, as opposed to some of the other styles of wiring, which is more or less a sensor that just kind of clamps onto that factory wire. In my experience, I found those can be a little bit finicky, and from time to time you might have to come back here and adjust them to get them to work. With this one, once you have it connected, you're done. You're not going to have to worry about it. Now, one thing I do want to point out, if you do plan on doing a lot of towing or using your wiring a lot, and you'd prefer to have it mounted outside permanently, that can be done. You just simply have to find a grommet on the inside to run your connector down through to the outside of the vehicle. And then you can always pick up a bracket to mount to your hitch. That way you can secure your wiring. Now, we do have a ton of different brackets available here at etrailer.com. Other than that, to get the install done, it's really not that bad. You're simply just going to be working here in the back of your BMW. Should have no problem getting it done at home, in the garage, or even in the driveway. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and hook the wiring up together now. To begin our installation, we're going to be here at the back of our BMW. We're going to be working behind our taillights, so we'll go ahead and open up our hatch. Now, if we move over to the side of our BMW, there's going to be a little access panel here, so we can take that off. Simply just grab under the handle, kind of pull outwards, set it to the side, and that'll give us access to the back of our taillight. So what we're going to need to do is disconnect our taillight wiring, which is this plug right here. And to do that, if you push down on this tab in the center of the plug and pull back at the same time, we're able to pull it out. Here's kind of a better look at that tab I was talking about. Now, with this side done, the other side set up the same way, so we're just going to repeat that process over there. Now what we need to do is test our wiring to find our stop, turn, and taillight signal. So to do that, went ahead and grabbed a test light, and right now I have my left turn signal on. And so what we're looking for, we're going to touch each terminal on the wire, and see if we get a signal. So this wire here is black with a white stripe. You can see our test light is working in conjunction with the turn signal. So what we're going to do is write that down and keep testing just like this to find all the other functions. So I went ahead and tested the rest of our functions over here on the driver's side, and what I found is that this is actually a 2-wire system. So what I mean by that is the black wire with the white stripe, that's not only going to control our turn signal, but it's also going to control our stop lights. Now as far as the tail lights or running lights go, the wire that we're going to use for that is this gray wire here with a thin purple stripe. Now I did the same thing over here on the passenger side, and what I found is this black wire with a gray stripe. That's going to control our stop and turn. And this gray wire with a yellow stripe, that's going to be for our tail or our running lights. Now what we can do over here on the driver's side is begin to hook our trailer wiring up. And what we're going to do first is take the brown wire, which will be for our tail lights, and we're going to connect that to the gray and purple wire here on our factory connector. So the way this works is there'll be a little bit of tape kind of covering these wires up. You kind of just want to pull that back, give you a little more room to work. We're going to take one of these quick splice connectors, and you're going to feed the factory wire through it first. Sometimes it does help to take your fingers and spread it apart a little bit. Take your brown wire and feed that into the other side. It'll look like that. And all you're going to do is just take a pair of pliers and push down this metal tab here. Push that down together, and that's what makes the connection between the two wires. We can just take our cover and close that up. So now we can do the same thing for our driver's side stop and turn signals. So we'll take the yellow wire from our new trailer wiring, and we're going to connect that to the black wire with a white stripe. Same way we did the other one. Push that connector over the factory wire, slide the yellow one in, come back with some pliers. Now, since our BMW has a 2-wire system, the red wire from our trailer wiring, this is just going to get turned into a ground wire. So what I'm going to do is just strip back the insulation. I'll give it a twist. And I'm just going to connect a ring terminal on it. This ring terminal is not included with the kit, but if you need one, you can find it here at etrailer. And crimp it down. Now we're able to find a spot to not only ground our red wire, but our white wire as well. The white one will have a pre-attached ring terminal, so you don't need to worry about that. So we're just going to put these together and then find a spot to ground this to the body of our vehicle. So the spot that I've chosen to ground our wiring is right here, where this factory bolt connects to the body of our vehicle. So I'm going to remove that bolt using a 8mm. Once we have it pulled out, what we can then do is grab our white wire and our red wire and put them over that bolt, and then we can just tighten our bolt back down. So what we're going to need to do now is locate our battery. That way we can hook up our power cable. Now the battery is located underneath this panel. So if we lift this up, and just push it out of the way, that'll give us access to this other covering, which our battery is underneath. So to get this covering out, there's going to be a few different types of fasteners. We're going to have a handful of pushpin style fasteners just along the edges that look just like this. Get these out. You can use a trim panel tool or a flathead screwdriver. Pry underneath the head of it. Then you're able to kind of get underneath the base and work it completely out. So I'm going to do that for the other remaining ones that are around the edge. With all the plastic fasteners out of the way, we're going to have two 8mm screws just like this, one on each side of this tray that we'll take out. What you can do is just grab the tray and set it off to the side. So I went ahead and took our large bundle of power wire, and what I did was just run one of the ends through a small opening right up through here into this compartment where we're hooking everything up. What we're going to do is take one end of our power wire, strip back the insulation, give that wire a good twist. We're going to take one of the butt connectors, put that over the bare end of the wire, crimp it down. We'll take the black power wire coming off of our box, plug that into the other end of our butt connector, and crimp that down as well. Now I went ahead and kind of cut some of the extra length off of our power wire that we're not going to need. Now since our BMW is a hybrid, we're going to have a couple of batteries back here. And the one that we're going to use is this smaller one here towards the passenger side. So what I've done, like I said, is kind of shorten up our wire and stripped off the insulation, because what we're going to do is take the fuse holder, connect it to the wire, and the other end of the fuse holder will go to the battery. So to get that done, we'll grab our butt connector, crimp it down, take one end of our fuse holder, that into the butt connector, connect those two together. And the other end of our fuse holder, what we're going to do is take a ring terminal and use the ring terminal for this end. Now with this all done, what we can do is connect it to our battery. Now one thing I want to mention before you actually connect the wire to the battery, you want to make sure that the fuse is not installed in the holder. That's what we're going to do at the very end once everything is hooked up. So if we move down here to our battery, we're going to have a 10mm nut. So we'll grab our wrench and get this loosened up. Now this nut will kind of hit a tight spot, so sometimes these aren't really designed to be completely removed, at least easily. So what I think I'm going to do here is take our ring terminal and just cut a small opening in it. That way we don't have to mess with trying to get that nut completely off. We can kind of just sneak our ring terminal in underneath it and then just tighten the nut back down. Now that our power wire is hooked up, we can get our green wire and run this over to the passenger side of our BMW. So I'll go ahead and run it and then show you the path that I took to get over there. This comes out. I dropped it down through this opening here, which kind of just comes underneath this piece of plastic. I was able just to bring it more or less up and over our batteries, and here in a little while we'll come back and kind of zip tie all the wiring and clean it up. Then the end of it just comes underneath this plastic and out into this pocket here. Now what we can do is hook up our green wire to the black wire with a gray stripe here on the passenger side. So this will work the same way as the other side. We'll just use our quick splice connector, and that'll get the two connected together. So they're lined up, and come back and pinch the connector down. Close the cap. Now that connection is made. With our connection now made over here on the passenger side, we can plug this back into our taillight. Once we have this side plugged in, we'll go over to the driver's side and plug that in as well. Now we can go ahead and secure our box. So we're going to use the included two-sided sticky tape. Peel off one side. You want to make sure to clean the box as well as your mounting location really good with some rubbing alcohol, which I've done. That'll ensure a nice, secure connection. Pop the tape on one side. Peel the other side off. The spot that I'm going to choose to mount it is right here. There's a little bit of carpet kind of just hanging over it. Kind of push it up out of the way. And slide it in. And push it nice and flat to get it mounted. Now that we have all of our connections made, we can come to our fuse holder and install the included fuse. Now once we have this in place, push it down, close our cap. Now we can test our wiring to make sure everything is functioning properly before we start putting all of our panels back together. To test our wiring, I'm just using a tester. If you don't have one of these, you can always just hook up to your trailer. What we're going to try is our running lights, our brake lights, our left turn, and our right turn. So I went ahead and cleaned up some of our wiring using some of the zip ties that's provided, and this is what it looks like. Now at this point we can put all of our panels back in the opposite order that we removed them. So if you don't plan on using your 4-pole flat trailer wiring right away, what you can do is just kind of bundle it up, put it in the storage compartment here, and pop your panels back on. And that'll finish up our look at and our installation of the Curt powered taillight converter kit on our 2017 BMW X5.